Did you have that?
Came back 15 minutes later.
All right. Good morning. Assemblyman Colin Schmitt here in our district office in Washingtonville, representing the 99th Assembly District. I thank everybody for joining me here this morning, as well as anybody watching the live stream. Called a press conference today because I will be introducing this week legislation in the State Assembly to ban the teaching of critical race theory, as well as any of its concepts being taught in New York State schools. I've heard from many concerned parents, families, and educators across the Hudson Valley and across the state of New York who are worried about what our students are learning, have the potential to be taught, and what it means for their future and for our nation's future. We have heard that concern because parents are demanding action, and we're deciding that it is time that somebody takes that action here in the state of New York. After a year of students being taught almost exclusively remotely and parents seeing firsthand what their children are being taught, they have reached out to me, legislators, county officials, school officials, federal officials across this region, across the state, and across this nation with grave concerns over the concepts and what is being incorporated or has the potential to be incorporated into their education. Critical race theory, CRT, is uniquely un-American. It is the indoctrination of students that seeks to destroy the core, fundamental principle that has been universal for all Americans, the pursuit of the American dream. CRT sets us back and says that race and the color of our skin is the most important thing and is what defines us and determines our future. Nothing could be further from the truth, and nothing could be more un-American. CRT requires students to take part in a course that teaches individuals to discriminate against or receive deferential treatment based solely or partially on an individual's race. CRT also attacks our entire society, laws, and institutions, and all of American existence. It is set up to indoctrinate our young students. No matter who you are, what you look like, where you come from, what you believe, or what your parents' job happens to be, in America, we can all achieve whatever our American dream is, whatever we want. You can live your American dream. This ideal, this pursuit, this calling, this concept since our nation's founding has propelled generation after generation after generation to do better, dream bigger, and achieve more than they could have ever imagined, and reach further than the generations before them. This ideal is under attack and is deconstructed by CRT, which fundamentally says that our laws, our systems, our institutions, our history is wrong. In America, anyone can overcome anything and achieve anything. But CRT and the concepts that it advances rewrites history and provides a false history, a false narrative on our most impressionable youth. We've seen socialists and other anti-capitalists have latched onto CRT. They see it as the clearest path forward to destroy the American dream and American institutions, which have been the greatest vehicle for freedom, for prosperity, for hope, and for unity this world has ever seen. Again, parents are concerned. They're calling, they're emailing, they're Facebooking, they're stopping into my office. We are hearing their voice loud and clear that this educational model and the concepts that it espouses are unacceptable. They're un-American. It's an assault on the American dream. So this week, like I said, I'll reiterate, we're introducing legislation in the State Assembly. We'll be circulating that to colleagues in bipartisan fashion, urging them to co-sponsor to do two things. One, it affirmatively ban CRT across the state of New York. It would not allow any educational institution in the state of New York to teach CRT to our students. And it would also ban any of the concepts, so that any of the concepts that are espoused by CRT could not be repackaged and then taught to our students in the classroom. CRT is chipping away at the American dream. We must fight for our American dream. Our families, our parents, and our educators want that to be the case, and that is what we're doing here with this legislation. So again, I thank everyone for being here. We have a few folks who would like to speak, and I appreciate them for being here. I'm going to start with a local school board member and attorney and a father, Kevin Gomez, who has been at the forefront of concern over CRT. He reached out to me many, many months ago and has been working with me on this issue. We've consulted on some of the concerns across the community, and I'd like to invite Kevin if he has a few words to say.
Thank you very much. And I want to thank Assemblyman Schmitt for taking up this battle on behalf of the families of our county and our state. Our children are the gatekeepers of America's future. The roadmap we set for them will decide whether they will carry the torch of freedom or be in an America of decline. Over 50 years ago, or even more, over 60 years ago, my family came from the island of Puerto Rico to New York State in search of the American dream. My mother will tell me that in school she will read about the beauty and the promise of New York and yearn to someday be able to step here. I want future generations, I want my 4 children to learn in school the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, and learn that here in America they will be able to be empowered through their God-given freedoms to achieve their aspirations. That is the positive message that our children need to take. We need to see to it that the stakeholders who have the most interest, parents, teachers, and local school districts, decide what's best for their children. We don't need no agenda-driven doctrination, whether it be CRT or anything else, to come from somewhere else and try to poison our children's education. So as a parent, as a father, as someone active in my community, as an attorney, and as someone also active with the Hispanic or Latino community in Orange County, I say CRT should not be in our backyard. It has to go. Let's put our children first. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Also joined this morning by Orange County legislator Joe Minuta. Joe has also previously served in school board capacity in City of Newburgh School Board previously. Joe?
Thank you, Assemblyman, and thank you for having me here today. Welcome guests, welcome neighbors and friends, and those who are concerned about your children's education. I was on the board for one of the most diverse school districts in this county. I attended that school district and was alum myself. I can tell you the diversity of that university, or academy as it should be properly stated, created an environment in which you got to know everyone. There was no one that was left behind as far as I'm concerned. I attended during the late 80s. Prior to that, yeah, we had a lot of problems in the Newburgh School District in the 70s. But that resurrected itself to a new level of understanding. Our children should be learning education that propels them to compete with everyone else in the world, to keep the United States on top of the education system and ahead of the rest of the world. All of these splinter programs that are coming out really is not the focus of what it should be. Our focus is to educate our children, and I hope that you will all agree with that. I know I certainly am a proponent of that, and so are the constituents that I've spoken with. So I just thank you very much for seeing me today and having me here.
Thanks, Joe. We have other local residents and families and folks involved in education here. Did anybody else want to say anything? Or so Nicole Husin, who is involved in education, and she'll be able to introduce herself and say a few words. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm here in my capacity as an educator and a community member. I also serve in many capacities in my community, including a school board, but I'm not here in that capacity today. I'm speaking out against critical race theory because I believe in the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who taught us to judge not by the color of the skin, but by the content of someone's character. And I want that for the youth in our community. I believe that racism cannot be overcome with more racism. Teaching kids to hate one another, that children are victims or oppressors, is not the way to go about this. I believe in teaching acts of mercy, kindness, compassion, empathy, understanding is how we accomplish that in a kind society. And I think the other speakers covered most of the other thoughts that were on my mind, but thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. a representative of many parents who reached out. We have Sierra, who would like to say a few words, and I know she has her family here with her as well, and we appreciate you representing the voice of many parents. I know it's tough during a work week to get a lot of people to show up and hear the concerns, so I'm appreciative that you were able to make it work and really speak about how parent feels about what's going on right now. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, and thank you. Since, December, we have been fighting this fight. I'm a working mom. I'm here from work. My son is from swim. We are not camera ready. I just want to reiterate what everyone else has said, that, we need to get back to the basics here. We need to teach our kids kindness, compassion, and I think the scary part is that we as parents don't even know the curriculum that is being taught and the agenda that is being pushed, and I just am here to advocate for the parents, and we need more parents to be involved, and it just takes an email, a phone call. I know sometimes we don't know where to start, but we have to do this for our kids. So that's what I'm here to say.
Awesome. Thank you. Jen, Colleen, did anyone want to say anything? Good?
I'm good.
All right.
That's you know what you're doing.
Well, I think that's all we have for planned remarks. Is there any questions from any members of the media? Good? All right. Well,
Do you have any sense as how the opposition party will react to the legislation?
Well, I can tell you that over 20 states have introduced legislation to ban CRT. I believe it's 7 or 8 states now have actually passed that legislation. Around that number. So we're just another state that's adding the legislation on. I certainly extend an olive branch to anybody of any party. I don't view this as a partisan issue. I truly view this as an issue for the future of our country. Our children's future are the future of our country. I think it is critically important that their education be one that supports that American dream and our American values. And we certainly, again, we're going to open this up to anybody who would like to sponsor and support the legislation, and we hope they will. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day.